Tragic loss. East Coast Demerara couple succumbs after gas explosion. In a heartbreaking turn of events, 58-year-old Manu Suku, also known as Paul, has passed away just 3 days after the death of his wife, Basmati Gunput, who was 55. The couple, who resided in Fulis, ECD, suffered severe burns following a gas bottle explosion at their home several weeks ago. Basmati Gunput succumbed to her injuries on Sunday, January 19th, and her husband's passing shortly thereafter has left the community in mourning. The tragic incident highlights the dangers associated with household gas appliances and has prompted calls for increased safety awareness in the region. The couple's untimely deaths have deeply affected their family and neighbors, who remember them fondly. Bent Street resident robbed of motorcycle and cash. Newsroom. A 40-year-old male resident of Bent Street fell victim to a robbery on Tuesday evening, losing his motorcycle and cell phone in the incident. According to reports from police headquarters, the robbery occurred around 6:40 p.m. on Wellington Street. The victim was approached by 2 unidentified men on an XR motorcycle, one of whom was armed with a handgun. The assailants blocked the victim's path, and the pillion rider then jumped off the motorcycle, brandishing the gun and demanding the victim hand over his motorcycle. In addition to the motorcycle, the robbers also stole the victim's cell phone, valued at approximately $110,000. The incident has been reported to the police, and investigations are currently underway to apprehend the suspects. This robbery highlights ongoing concerns about safety and security in the area. Construction worker sentenced for theft of watch and cash. Ram Singh, a 19-year-old construction worker, has been sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in prison after pleading guilty to charges of break and enter and larceny. The incident took place on January 18, 2025, at the residence of Asad Ayubi, where Singh stole a Movado watch valued at approximately $1,000 and cash totaling 2.5 million Guyanese dollars. Singh appeared before Principal Magistrate Dylan Bess at the Diamond/Grove Magistrates Court on Wednesday. Initially, he was not required to enter a plea. However, he later pleaded guilty under the Administration of Justice Act. Singh was arrested 2 days later, on January 20, 2024. The court's decision emphasizes the seriousness of property crimes and the judicial system's commitment to addressing such offenses. Nandlall plans further appeal in GTU fees deduction case. News source Guyana. Attorney General Anil Nandlall has expressed dissatisfaction with a recent ruling by Appeal Court Judge Justice Don Gregory, who denied the state's application to stay a previous ruling mandating the continuation of deductions for union dues and their remittance to the Guyana Teachers Union, GTU. Following this decision, Nandlall announced plans to pursue further appeals. On his Issues in the News program, Nandlall emphasized that he believes the state has a strong case, referencing a precedent set by a similar case in the Court of Appeal. He stated, "I am not surprised by the ruling. The government doesn't have a track record of winning cases in the Guyana Court of Appeal. The controversy stems from a decision made by the government last February, which halted the deduction of union dues from teachers' salaries amid strike actions initiated by the GTU for increased salaries. While the state is appealing the overall decision made by Justice Sandal Kissoon, it specifically seeks to overturn the requirement to deduct and remit union fees." Nandlall argued that there is no legal obligation for the government to collect and remit union dues, stating, "The government is now being saddled with a responsibility to collect union dues and pay it over to the union from members of the union. That is the union business." He pointed to the Nanda Gopal case as a reference for his position. In response, the GTU has indicated its intention to challenge the government's non-compliance with the court order issued since February. The ongoing legal battle highlights the tensions between the government and the teachers' union over issues of salary and union dues. Increased public cooperation observed with police body cameras. Newsroom. Deputy Superintendent Antonio Fredericks has reported a notable increase in public cooperation with the Guyana Police Force, GPF, following the deployment of more body cameras among police ranks. In an interview with the Newsroom, Fredericks noted that civilians appear to behave more responsibly and respectfully during interactions with law enforcement, possibly due to the awareness that they are being recorded. "We are having the cooperation of the motorists. I don't know if it's because they are aware now that they are being recorded and we can use that evidence against them if there is an unwarranted altercation," he stated. The body cameras provide both visual and audio evidence, enabling independent verification of events during police public encounters. Officers using these cameras follow Standard Operating Procedure, SOP 1, established in May 2015, and are receiving training on their operation, including how to extract and upload footage. Fredericks emphasized that all ranks are equipped with body cameras and are trained in their usage. These cameras are valuable for documenting interactions with victims and witnesses, as well as during arrests and critical incidents. The footage captured is stored in a database for use as evidence in the event of any disputes regarding police conduct. The initiative to equip police ranks with body cameras was first announced by Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken during a recent meeting with senior officers. Currently, the GPF has around 800 body cameras, with 500 recently acquired, and plans to purchase more in the future. This move aims to enhance transparency and accountability within the police force while improving community relations. Businessman sentenced to 1 month in jail for assaulting police officer. Region 2, Pomeroon Supinam, Jairam Besessar, a businessman from Region 2, was sentenced to 1 month in prison on Tuesday after being found guilty of assaulting a police officer. The ruling was made by Magistrate Tamika Clark at the Suddy Magistrates Court. The incident occurred on January 2, 2025, when Besessar assaulted Police Corporal Hakeem Atkins of the Anti-Crime Patrol Divisional Headquarters in Anna Regina, Essequibo Coast, at the Lima housing scheme. He was charged with assaulting a peace officer under Section 28B of the Summary Jurisdiction Offenses Act, Chapter 802. During the court proceedings, Besessar was absent due to serious illness. However, an ex parte trial was conducted in his absence. The court found him guilty, leading to his immediate sentencing. Following the verdict, Besessar was arrested and placed in custody to serve his sentence. Despite being incarcerated, he continues to require medical support, which he is reportedly receiving. The case highlights the serious consequences of assaulting law enforcement personnel and underscores the judiciary's commitment to upholding the law. Max found guilty of fish vendor murder. Guyana Chronicle. Shaquille Fawkes, also known as Max, has been found guilty of the murder of 43-year-old fish vendor Hanuman Jadunoff, also known as Bakku. A unanimous verdict was delivered by a 12-member jury on Monday at the Demerara High Court, presided over by Justice Navindra Singh. The sentencing hearing is scheduled for February 17, 2025. Fawkes, now 34 years old, remains in custody while awaiting sentencing. The tragic incident occurred on March 30, 2020, when Jadunoff was last seen in the company of Fawkes and another individual. Key evidence in the trial included surveillance footage showing Fawkes walking with Jadunoff, who was carrying a water bottle that Fawkes had instructed him to fetch. Later footage captured Fawkes striking Jadunoff while he held the bottle. On the morning of March 31, 2020, police responded to a call from Swan Street, where they found Jadunoff unconscious with multiple stab wounds to his chest, neck, and body. He was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. Fawkes was apprehended 2 days later and confronted with the surveillance footage, in which he acknowledged being the individual depicted. During police questioning, Fawkes claimed that the knife seen in the footage belonged to someone else and stated that he had disposed of it in a trench. However, despite leading officers to the area, the knife was never recovered. Eyewitnesses testified to seeing Fawkes with Jadunoff prior to the stabbing and later observed him holding a knife after the attack. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, Fawkes denied involvement, claiming he went directly to his aunt's house in Meetenmeer Zorg after leaving a party on the night of the incident. He also denied residing in Puturoyan, despite guiding investigators to his home during their investigation. The prosecution team, led by attorneys Christopher Belfield and Muntaz Ali, presented compelling evidence, including surveillance footage and eyewitness testimonies, which ultimately secured the conviction. Fawkes was represented by attorney Lawrence Harris. Vendor charged with firearm possession claims self-defense. Kaider News. Darwin Benens, a 31-year-old vendor from Meadowbrook Housing Scheme, was granted bail of $150,000 on Tuesday after appearing in the Georgetown Magistrates Court on charges of illegal firearm possession. Benens was accused of possessing a Sig Sauer P3 65 9mm pistol on the Guy-Hawk Access Road without a valid firearm license. He pleaded not guilty and explained to the court that he was in the process of disarming a robber at the time of his arrest. The incident reportedly occurred around 11 p.m. on Saturday when police officers on patrol received information leading them to the Tuckville area. There, they heard gunshots and saw 3 men fleeing. The police pursued and apprehended Benens, who was found with a firearm in his right hand. The weapon was seized and was found to have an empty magazine. When questioned about a firearm license, Benens admitted he did not possess one, leading to his arrest. Another suspect, Ronald Gilbert, was also arrested at the scene, but a subsequent search of their homes yielded no illegal items. The firearm was processed for fingerprints, but none were found. Bennon's attorney, Dominic Bess, requested reasonable bail, emphasizing that his client had no prior convictions. Bess described the events leading up to the arrest, stating that Bennons was attempting to protect himself from Simon Eiffel, who allegedly attempted to rob him of his gold chain. According to Bess, Eiffel fired 2 shots in Bennons' direction, and during a struggle, Bennons managed to disarm him. He claimed that Bennons immediately surrendered the firearm to the police. The prosecution opposed bail, citing Bennons' prior charge for a similar offense and the gravity of the situation. However, Magistrate Faith McGusty granted bail, noting that Bennons did not flee and voluntarily handed over the firearm upon police arrival. As a condition of his bail, Bennons must report to the East La Penitence police station. He is scheduled to return to court on February 12 for further proceedings. School gang threatens boy after brutal beating. Guyana News. A 14-year-old boy, identified as Kelvin Fraser, was allegedly threatened by a gang of 17 boys at West Demerara Secondary School after being brutally beaten in the washroom last Friday. The assailants reportedly coerced him into claiming he had fallen and hit his head, rather than admitting to the attack. Fraser, a third-form student, recounted the incident, stating that the attack was linked to a prior issue involving his stolen phone. He mentioned that rumors were circulating about the alleged mastermind of the gang having his phone, which led to heightened tensions. On the day of the attack, Fraser entered the washroom only to be ambushed by the group. When I reached the washroom, everybody pushed me through the back, he explained. He was then struck multiple times, resulting in significant injuries around his eye. After the assault, 2 boys reportedly delivered a message from the attacker, threatening to stab Fraser if he did not tell teachers that he had fallen. Out of fear, he complied and went to the office with the boys to explain his injuries. Fraser was subsequently taken to the West Demerara Regional Hospital, where he faced delays in receiving treatment. His grandmother, Miranda Blair, eventually sought care at a private clinic, where the doctor indicated that the injuries were consistent with a physical assault rather than a fall. The bullying appears to be part of a larger pattern, as Blair noted that Fraser had previously returned home with injuries, which he often attributed to accidents. Despite the ongoing abuse, Fraser continued attending school until now, when he is considering transferring due to the bullying. On Monday, Fraser identified 7 of his attackers to school authorities. The family is now awaiting a full investigation, with Blair indicating that they plan to pursue legal action. The police are prepared to act but are waiting for the school's welfare department to complete its investigation. Attempts by Guyana News to obtain a comment from the Ministry of Education regarding the incident have been unsuccessful. The situation has raised concerns about school safety and the need for effective measures to combat bullying. Firearms and ammunition found in police operation in Division No. 7. Police in Regional Division No. 7 acted on information received on January 20, 2025, and conducted an operation in Macoria, Essequibo River. During the operation, they encountered Aubrey Ama Haynes, a 37-year-old male from Hamper Bay. Police confronted Haynes about allegations of discharging a loaded firearm near Macoria Creek. He confessed to the allegation and admitted to possessing a firearm. A search revealed a .32 semi-automatic pistol with a magazine containing 6 live rounds concealed in his crotch area. Haynes stated he did not have a firearm license and claimed the pistol belonged to his uncle, Royston Messiah, a 73-year-old farmer. Haynes was arrested and taken to Bartica Police Station along with the firearm and ammunition. The items were secured as evidence. In a video-recorded interview, Haynes admitted the firearm belonged to Messiah and mentioned he had accidentally discharged it at the home of Francine Strawn, a local housewife. The police contacted Messiah, who claimed Haynes had stolen the firearm from him. On January 21, 2025, Royston Messiah reported to the police after being informed about the situation. He acknowledged being the licensed owner of both a .32 semi-automatic pistol and a .270 Walter PKK rifle, stating that both were stored in a locked metal case. Messiah had not renewed his firearm licenses due to financial constraints and discovered the firearms were missing after police contacted him. During further investigation, Messiah revealed that he had known Haynes for about 20 years and that Haynes had expressed interest in taking over his residence. On January 21, during an interview, Messiah disclosed that his rifle was also missing. Haynes was re-interviewed and admitted to removing the firearm under Messiah's instructions and agreed to show police where it was hidden. At approximately 1500 hours HRS on January 21st, officers conducted a search at Messiah's residence. They found 7 live .270 rounds of ammunition in the upper flat and the .270 Walter PKK rifle concealed in a white salt bag under a bed frame in the lower flat. Haynes claimed he had permission from Messiah to use the rifle for hunting. The seized firearm and ammunition were secured as evidence at the Bartica police station. Aubrey Haynes remains in police custody and is cooperating with the ongoing investigation. Royston Messiah's involvement is also being scrutinized, particularly regarding his instructions to Haynes and his initial failure to report the missing rifle. Further investigations are ongoing.